Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining CyberConnect. Welcome to this career day today, and we have amazing guests as part of this panel. And we have a cyber certification prize for a random subscriber if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel and be notified. And let's just start our journey today. I want to ask the first question to the panelists. And to begin with, could you briefly introduce yourself and your current position and describe your primary responsibilities in that role?
So I'm first, I think. So I'm Peter Schawacker. I'm CEO and co-founder of Nearshore Cyber, originally hatched in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the suburbs. So good to meet you, John. Good to meet you, Larisa, Kate, Karl. Thank you, Francisco, for putting this on, and also for Philippa for this. I've been in cyber for 28 years. Last 3 of it, I've been running Nearshore Cyber. We are primarily a staffing recruiting company that concentrates on cybersecurity talent from emerging markets. I live in Mexico, a place called Oaxaca. My job is to tell people the truth about their careers and the people they're hiring to create value. So I think it's pretty good. Oh, by the way, the music was great. It reminds me of like 1990s Los Angeles. If you listen to KCRW, you remember the soundtrack to your urban adventure on KCRW. So anyway, I think next.
Yeah, hi everybody. John McNicholas. I'm outside of Philadelphia, so Peter, yeah, fellow Eagles fan, I take it. Glad to be here. I've had over 22 years in cybersecurity. I got my start in the Navy. Great, it really helped me out there. I'm a senior cybersecurity officer for a U.S. government agency. I say that because I've just been trained by OSINT, so it's a way of keeping it minimal as possible, because then you start getting emails, you start getting things like that. But yeah, I'm real happy to be here, and it's a great way to get more people involved in the cybersecurity field, because we all know we need them. Thanks.
Hi guys, my name is Larisa. Definitely not AI, definitely not a Russian spy. By day, I am a CISA, and by night, I wreak havoc on LinkedIn. I've been for 10 years in tech, and the last 5 were in cybersecurity, where I mostly deal with contracts, and I'm basically the accounting of cybersecurity. So if you don't have a technical job and you want to pivot into cybersecurity, I'm your girly. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karl Sickendick. I'm a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force. I actually just recently changed positions with the Air Force. I was in San Antonio, where I was leading a squadron of cyber capability developers, the 90th Cyber Operations Squadron, and we're the Shadow Warriors, and we created the tools that the nation's cyber operators use. So we were hackers that create tools for other hackers. That was a blast, leading that about 200-person organization. And then just, the military, every 2 years, they kind of move you around, and that's a 2-year position. So I've got a lot of boxes behind me. Hopefully you won't see them. But I've just recently moved to be a professor of systems engineering at Defense Acquisition University. So that's a portion of the government, specifically the Department of Defense, that focuses on training the rest and educating the rest of the force on how to purchase things efficiently and make the best use of people's money. And I'm going to be fortunately focusing on cyber systems and cybersecurity in this job. So just started. I'll be probably answering questions with a focus on both. Thank you. Thanks for setting this up.
Karl, congrats on the new role. Oh, my name is Kate Marshall. I run the summit events over at the SANS Institute. I have been in cyber and at SANS for almost 20 years now, and we focus on creating events that are, late breaking, community building, really just helping cybersecurity professionals level up quickly. And more recently, I've been leading different initiatives around AI integration and adoption within organizations, and just supporting AI development and adoption inside of security, and based in Denver.
Fantastic. I love that. So you all have very different backgrounds, and can come from sort of these unique environments, and just would love to start with the next question of how do you see the future of the cybersecurity workforce? Let's start with you, John.
As cybersecurity workforce, being more agile, honestly, is as we go into it, and I know everybody's AI is on the tip of everyone's tongue. I see it as a very efficient and useful tool. We have to use that properly, but it's just a tool. I don't feel like it's necessarily going to replace or turn it, upside down, but we have to learn, we have to be agile with it. We have to move with it. We have to keep learning, keep moving forward. The days of, I work on Cisco devices, I'm a network engineer, are gone. You have to look at the whole spectrum and be ready to learn something new. And that's the beauty of the field. You're always learning. Thanks.
Yeah. I'll jump in. So what we're seeing is hybrid used to mean in-person and virtual, and now hybrid is meaning AI agent plus human. And so data is starting to come out showing just how well humans and AI partnered together can achieve better outcomes inside of cybersecurity. And so I think we're going to see a lot more of this hybrid work.
Just to add to what Kate mentioned, I have the same feeling. So on the one side, we have a lot more regulations coming in, which means a lot more work for people with a legal background or for people that are passionate about it. On the other hand, we see a lot of automation and people needing to learn how to work with AI. We have these conversations every week at C-level that people have to be able to work with AI. From my experience and what I have automated in the last 3 months, the responses are pretty accurate and good. So we can expect even more than what we have up until now when it comes to AI usage.
I think from my perspective, I think that kind of ability to team with AI, I hope that it progresses to the point where it's similar to how we might team with and work with other people. And so, in cyber, especially on the very technical side, when we talk about cyber careers, we talk about a whole diversity of careers. But especially on the very technical side, I think some people get into cyber hoping, I'll just be able to interact with this computer. But really, LLMs and the rest of AI and kind of where we're going with that, like we're looking at these more in, at least what I've seen has been more in the terms of teaming. And so I think that'll continue and grow in importance, the ability to team and create teams of AI agents perhaps, but also create teams of people and work together. I think that also, instead of a little bit what John said, instead of being so specialized, we'll have to be more generalized as on the people side, or at least be able to understand a more general set of things. Technology is spread out. Internet of Things is not such a buzzword anymore, but every year that's just because the buzzwords keep getting replaced by new buzzwords, and the breadth of knowledge that you've got to have to be effective in a wide range of jobs, and especially security-related jobs, is just growing, and I think it'll continue to grow.
I think the future is likely to be like the present, but more so. What I mean by that is the extremes will become more so. The importance of one's humanity becomes elevated as we can spend more time on things that aren't mechanistic. People who sleepwalk through life, who do things that computers can do, they're in trouble if they don't change. And unfortunately, that's most people. And so, we can look to cloud computing and the cycle that we went through with that for the past 15, 20 years and see how it rhymes. And in that case, you saw a lot of people whose job was to like schlep hardware around, lose those jobs. You saw acceleration and change all over the place. But you also, and that again, like we're all picking on John here. Again, it's a Philly thing. Like we do that. There is at once a kind of increase in specialization in certain areas where like deep domain knowledge becomes very important and very valuable and hard to come by. And then you have a kind of dispersion. Like cloud people took over their own security when the security world said, no, you can't secure that. There was a period when, and to some degree, it still goes on, where people say, well, you know, that system is too important to put in the cloud. Well, I draw your attention to what just happened with like SharePoint, what's happened with Exchange over the years, where the on-prem ones were the ones that were hit. And so when security forfeited the opportunity to do work around the security of the systems that were coming in and the new ways of doing computing, the people who needed to create value with those and use those systems and operate them for the business, they just took security on their own. And they did a pretty good job. So I think you'll see the people who, to sum up, the people who are saying, no, 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 don't do security, you can't secure AI, are already being left out in the cold now. And we'll see more and more of that. And we're working with this every day by teaching people to think in security, to think about AI as presenting opportunities for new careers, a new kind of cybersecurity industry. And the people who are saying, no, don't do that, who really they're just using ChatGPT as another Google, they're out of luck.